Hi, Dr. Tracy here. This is CISGAME 403, and this is going to be a quick discussion about Chapter 5, which is Dragon Realm. So that is coming off the announcement for this week, and if you look at the links, we're on the writing programs pages. And in the writing programs pages, I said on this week to work on chapters 5 and 6. Chapter 5 is got the link to Dragon Realm, and chapter 6 is using the debugger. So I'll go over that next. But Dragon Realm, you take a look at Dragon Realm, what it's going to teach you as you go through this chapter is being able to create your own functions using the def keyword, DEF. DEF means define. Also creating multi-line strings using while statements and or and not Boolean operators, truth tables, the return keyword, variable scope, parameters, argument, and the sleep function. So that's a whole lot of stuff going on in this one chapter. So when you are done with this chapter and you go to run the program, it's going to look something like this. You are in the land full of dragons and blah, blah, blah. Pick a cave to go in, and maybe the great dragon eats you, and maybe he doesn't. It's super exciting. And there's a flow chart, this is our first look at flow charts with game design, which shows you the progression of the game through each of the constructs, showing the control flow from start until end. Now, this takes you to the source code for the Dragon Realm. I put the code into Replit, repl.it, so that you could see it as an online compiler. And I want to go through each of these pieces of code. This is the exact code from the Chapter 5 text for Dragon Realm. You can see on line 1 and 2, it starts with 2 import statements. Those are both modules that allow you to import those classes into your program. Random will let you use the random functions that we covered in a previous chapter. And time is going to allow you to use a sleep function. That's kind of like a pause for a second for effect. All right, I'm going to run this program so that you can see how it works. Here I am up here on the top, and I click run. And it comes up to say, you are in a land full of dragons. In front of you, you see 2 caves. In one cave, the dragon is friendly and will share his treasure with you. But the other dragon is greedy and hungry and will eat you on sight. Which cave do you go? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to pick 2. And so I choose 2 and press enter. And it says you approach the cave. Pause. It is dark and spooky. Pause for effect. A large dragon jumps up and gives you his treasure. Yay, I'm a winner. Then it asks if I want to play again. At this point, I can type in yes or Y to play again, but anything else I type in is going to take me back to the game is over. So, going back to the code, the way that this program is written is using a series of functions, actually. And those functions help you organize your program better by creating sections that you can call later. It divides it into 3 areas: display intro, choose cave, and check cave, given that we have chosen a cave. So the first function, you can see how it's written. It's by typing in DEF and then by typing in display intro. The same rules apply for the creation of functions that do for variables, and that is that you can use letters and numbers and underscores, but you cannot start with a number or an underscore. Functions, however, have an open and closed parentheses after them always, because that indicates that it's a function, that it's going to do something. And in this case, display intro is a function that is going to print several statements and then print a blank line, as you see on chapter 9. So it doesn't do too much, but what it does do is it prints this first little story and then a blank line. And so that's what we're looking at. The next function, okay, actually, functions by themselves don't do anything. Functions are there because they are declared for use. It's not until down near the bottom of the game where we say display intro does it actually print that intro. So I'll talk about that in a second. The second function in here is called choose cave. Functions are defined according to their indent. You start off with a DEF statement, then you name the function, and then you put a semicolon to indicate what is included in the function, and everything beneath that needs to be indented, 4 spaces or 1 tab, however you want to do it. There's a cave in this function. There's a variable called cave that's set to nothing. And then there's a while statement. Now, as we're first starting to learn about a while statement says that there is only one condition. If that's true, then you will continue with the statements as executed. And if it's not true, then you will skip past it and go on to the next line. So in this case, it says while cave is, an exclamation equal sign means not equal to. So while cave is not equal to 1 and cave is not equal to 2, it's going to print which cave will you go into. Okay, cave, as you know right here on line 12, cave is equal to nothing. So it is not equal to 1 and it is not equal to 2, which means it will go ahead and go to line 14. And when it goes to line 14, it gives you a chance to type in 1 or 2. Whatever you type in will be stored in the variable called cave. At the end of this line, because it's a while statement, and while statements automatically execute again once they get to the bottom unless a condition has been met, it will test again whether cave is equal to, not equal to 1 or not equal to 2. And if it's not equal to 1 or not equal to 2, it'll print the statement again. But hopefully, considering that you put in a 1 or 2, it's going to save your input into cave variable, and then it will return cave to the place that called it. So this defines the function choose cave from line number 11 down through line number 17. But that doesn't execute it until it gets down here. That's the execution or the function call for choose cave. There's a third function in this program that checks the cave to see if the dragon is in there and if he's going to gobble you up or give you a treasure. First thing it does is it says you approach the cave. There's a little pause in there. The time.sleep parentheses 2, it just pauses for 2 little briefs, mini seconds. And then it's for effect more than anything else. Then it chooses a variable called friendly cave, and the friendly cave is either going to be in 1 or 2. The game doesn't even know once you get to here, even though you've already chosen whether you want cave 1 or 2. It picks a random number, either 1 or 2, and that's the random int function from the random module, and it gives the possible numbers it can pick, 1, 2. Then it says if the chosen cave is equal to the string version of the random number chosen. That's what's happening here on line 30. So if the cave you chose is equal to the string version, the reason why I've changed it into string is because when you put in a cave, all input is automatically a string unless you convert it into an integer. But this is an integer because we use the random int function. So there's also a random choice function, which might have worked better for this purpose, but it doesn't matter because as long as they put 1 or 2, you change it to a string. So if you picked 1 and the random pick was 1, you get the treasure. If you picked 2 and the random cave was 2, you get the treasure. But if you picked 1 and it was 2, or you picked 2 and it was 1, the dragon will jump out and eat you. So all of that is part of this check cave function. Notice that all 3 functions have open and closed parentheses. One of them has something written in it, and what's in there is chosen cave. So now that means that to run this function, check cave, you have to have a parameter. It needs a value. It needs to know which cave you chose. So actually right here is the entire game. The other stuff are function, and they haven't executed yet. And nothing will start executing until it gets down to this game loop. The while statement on line 36 says while play again is equal to yes, or play again is equal to y, colon. Translated, that means while this variable play again is equal to yes, or if somebody just types in a y, you're going to do all of these things. So it is yes. So we're obviously going to do it once to start off. Okay, on line 38, it calls the function display intro, which means it's just going to print all that stuff. Then it sets a variable called cave number equal to the result of running the function choose cave, which means since we've defined choose cave here, it's going to run lines 12 through 17 and return the value of whatever cave is chosen. Because there's a return statement here, we set the function equal to a variable. The cave number will store that whatever is returned from that function. Now, finally, it says run this function, but take cave number and put it in there. So that means, well, we're going to run the check cave function, but we're going to run it according to the value of the variable cave number. So that's going to run all this stuff and either gobble you down or give you the treasure. And at the bottom, it says, do you want to play again? Now, at that point, if you type in yes, it will start from the beginning and play again based on your input. If you type in YES or you type in lowercase y. Anything else will cause it to end the program. Okay, so what you're doing with this is you're going to use this program for part of your project. Let me go back to the announcement for this week. The announcement for this week says that you're going to continue working in these projects as suggested by Project 3. So let's look at Project 3. And in Project 3, it says take that game, Dragon Realm, and you're going to recreate this game but expand on the story. Give a few more options. Recreate the flow chart. So the flow chart of this game is listed right there. Right there. And what you're going to do with this is you're going to make your flowchart look like this one, only add what other options you have. There's a couple ways to do this. You could do a flowchart just using, just drawing on a piece of paper and then submitting a picture. Or you could do something in like Word or one of those other things. Otherwise, there is software that helps you create flowcharts. So that's how you're going to do this part of the assignment, this first part, this chapter, chapter 5, and you will submit that as part of Project 3, which Project 3 isn't due till October 11th because we have a lot that we're going to go through before I'm going to ask you to submit it. But this is what you're working on this week. Hope this helps. I'll talk to you soon.